House of the Dragons. We are 3 episodes in or 2. I don't know. I actually got to check now. Two. We are 2 episodes in.
Watch this past Sunday's episode. So.
What did you say?
I just watched this Sunday. This episode's 2.
We are 2 episodes because on my YouTube right now is somebody explaining season 1, episode 2. Okay, so
is the video synopsis. Longer than the episode?
No, of course not. Thank God. So to start this off, I want to set this off for people who want to get into House of Dragons. It takes place in a Game of Thrones universe, but it is not the Game of Thrones that you know.
And we know
it is a prequel to that story. But in terms of the same, in all honesty, they tell this story as if season 8 existed, but it didn't exist at the same time. Like there's a different universe of season 8 when it went right. Now, this show, as of right now, 2 episodes in, fucking amazing. From what everybody want in episodes of Game of Thrones, other than the making motherfuckers get naked just for the sake of it, like they did to Daenerys. They used to make her get naked just to get naked.
It's HBO's niggas get naked.
Yeah, and they said they're gonna stop that. The raunchiness just to be raunchy. And I appreciate that.
I appreciate that too. I find that shit kind of corny.
Corny as heck.
Weird.
So, like, if we would do one episode, something to grip you. Like, at the end of season 1, when Ned Stark, spoiler for who never watched the original Game of Thrones, when Ned Stark got his head lopped off at the end of season 1, we sat there and was like, what the fuck?
I was like, oh, right? Snap. I knew it was happening, and I was still like, damn. This shit crazy.
Exactly. This episode, we get a what the fuck moment in a T-section. That shit was hard to bear.
Oh, it was a double what the fuck. Because, damn, his wife.
Damn. It was definitely, it was like what this man is doing just to get a hair is crazy. But the show itself starts off as we learning about. So this show starts off of Targaryens. So that's Game of Thrones main characters. Some people might think it's the Starks. Technically, it's the Starks because it's a song of ice and fire, but it's the Starks and the Targaryens. So
the Starks are in this show, or are they like the enemy faction?
Nah, you get one Stark nigga, but this show is based off of a world building book that George R.R. Martin made. So it's that the House of Dragons. It's basically telling the whole Targaryen dynasty up until we get to Dany or Daenerys, whoever you want to call her. So until we get to how Dany and Daenerys, and how Dany and her brother got all the way in. I think it's like Essos or something. Now we're at like the end of we're not at the end of the Targaryen reign, so to speak. We're at the end of because the Targaryens ruled because of their dragons. The dragons was the most powerful thing that they had. Like if you watch like from season like 6 to 8, Daenerys was undefeated with them damn dragons. She only had one by the end, but she was smoking niggas with that one, right? That's how they ruled the 7 kingdoms. And Daenerys dragons compared to like D&D is such assholes because Daenerys dragons in the show never really had no personalities other than there was like 3. They kind of looked like 3 German shepherds. In this show, all these dragons have their own personalities, and it plays within the stories. It plays within the story. So, my favorite character, Daemon Targaryen, his dragon, Bloodworm, looks way different than any dragon you've seen. It got a long neck, it's slithery, and it plays within the story. Rhaenyra, I think her dragon name is Caraxes, is a golden dragon, and it plays within the story. Like, so this is about the dance of the dragon. So one of the last Targaryen civil wars, but it wipes out the dragons at the end. Is it a spoiler? Yes, but
I mean,
it's
but
always
technically,
spoiled.
you know what's gonna happen
Yes,
because of Game of Thrones.
Joffrey spoiled. Joffrey spoiled a character's death in Game of Thrones in this show that we won't see probably till the end. Joffrey spoiled his death. He literally in one of the seasons he pointed at the ground. He was like, "This is what Queen Rhaenyra got birthed alive by her brother dragon down here, and her bones are still down here." Like he spoiled her death already. So we just try to see how it gets there, and it's a really good narrative, right? Just like how we know the prequel of Star Wars, we want to see how Anakin becomes Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Shitty as it be, we want to see how Anakin becomes Darth Vader. So we start off with King Viserys. King Viserys was a king chosen by like diplomats because of the king before him, Jaehaerys, didn't all his hair ended up dying in some type of way. It's a bunch of incest, so you already know what happened with incest babies and stuff like that. So his kids never, even when they got to adulthood, they died. So the Viserys, the king that we're watching now, he is inheriting a realm that was at peace forever, because the previous king, Jaehaerys, was the best king that Westeros ever seen. I mean, the Seven Kingdoms ever seen, right? So boom, he inherits his kingdom. Now he needs the heir. Now, Viserys, and what he get, all he ever had was a daughter, and all he wanted was a boy so they can pass the thing down, because the lords of Westeros don't want no woman on that throne. So so his whole thing is like, I need to get a heir. So every time his wife tried to pull out a baby, boom, that motherfucker ended up dying. So if he don't have a heir, his last two options is between his crazy ass brother, my favorite character, Daemon Targaryen, and his daughter Rhaenyra, however you say her name is. But she's a female, and nobody wants a female to rule the Iron Throne. So he's like, damn, I need a heir.
I thought, okay, you know what? My mind was, I thought she was talking about like who he was gonna have sex with to have hair. I was like, wait, his brother? How long does that go? I was like,
trust me, when I talk about episode 2, you're gonna be like, what the fuck? So mind you, so check it. So this is where the C-section come into place. He wanted his wife going, because she was pregnant in the beginning of it, so his wife goes to labor. Now the baby, something happened with the baby that it only can be removed by C-section. And the maesters asked him, like, yo, it's basically keep the baby, keep the wife. He killed his wife right there and then and took the baby. He didn't purposely rip the stomach out, but they did a C-section. His wife died for the baby. All for that baby to die just an hour later.
Dumbass.
So my favorite. So they have a funeral, but my favorite character, Daemon, he believes that he should have been the heir anyway. He should be heir to the throne anyway. He's just waiting for the time they name him the heir on the throne. There, but he has a very little brother attitude. So he was jealous if that baby was gonna be born anyway. So the baby in him dying, this nigga go kick it at the brothels and stuff like that. He said it, but we don't know he said it. This nigga came out with the most fiery line, and he did a cheer to the hair for the day. So he was talking about his, he cheered to that nigga dead baby.
He said for the day. He said for the day, boy. He said I'm smoking on that pack, boy.
So that got Daemon banished. So now Daemon like really mad, like, oh, y'all disrespecting me now. The Hand of the King, Otto, he's playing like a Littlefinger role. You remember Littlefinger, Cam?
Yeah.
He playing like a Littlefinger role of, you might not know if he conniving, but he conniving. Because the first thing he did, as, you know, to start playing this Game of Thrones, is send his daughter into the king's chamber so the king can have the hair with his daughter. So that's the first thing he did.
And this nigga desperate for a baby, so you know he gonna do it.
So he can, and this also, his house can be the second biggest house in the kingdom.
Smart.
Boom. So we fast forward, and so after this, one of the coolest scenes, but it's also corny. He brings Rhaenyra down to the Dragon Quit when he's about to make her hair. because now he's like, I have to do something. I don't have nobody, and I just banished my brother. So he made her hair, but he told her the reason we have dragons and we control the seven kingdoms is because of a dream that Aegon the Conqueror had. The first Targaryen that came and took over the seven kingdoms. He said it's about the Song of Ice and Fire. That's basically what this book of Game of Thrones is called. The Song of Ice and Fire. Cold as hell. If season 8 was such ass because the long night was one night. It wasn't, because he was like, we got to prepare for the long night, the long winter.
And it was right.
One night.
It was one long night. He wasn't lying.
And it would have been so fire. And a lot of people was mad because it reminds them. Season 8 left some bad taste. I accepted season 8. I accepted it for what it was. It left a lot of bad taste in the fans' mouth. So boom, episode 2, we start seeing the stakes go from like here to fucking here, right? So Daemon gone, and he's supposed to went to his wife, but he's like, I'm gonna take this whore over to Dragonstone, because I fucking want to.
My kid.
Yeah,
so
is
that where the Civil War comes into play? Is the whole Daemon is like
actually not yet. The Civil War seeds haven't even planted, but they haven't planted yet. So boom, and I'm gonna tell you how the Civil War seeds got planted. So he went over there. So he went over there to Dragonstone, and that's Rhaenyra's technically, since she's the heir, that's what she has by right.
Mm-hmm.
But she loves her cousin, so she ain't about to go fight her cousin for that shit. So, but like Otto Hightower get word that Daemon's over there, so he like send me to go take him out. Send me to go knock this nigga head off. He went over there. Man, Daemon was like, look, my dragon in the back, you want all your people to die right here. This is gonna happen. And they all shut up, and then Rhaenyra made a chess move to come and say, look, I'm gonna show how I can end things as a queen. And she ended that squabble with her cousin and Otto Hightower. Throughout this time, there was a thing that Tywin said in Game of Thrones that said, if you have to say that you're a king, you're not really a king, right? Mm. And that's the same thing with if you say that you're a leader. That's the same thing. If people don't see you as a leader, you're truly not a leader. That's just your title, but you're not a real leader, right? It's the thing that happens in Game of Thrones. If you sit on an iron throne and it cuts you, it's symbolic of the throne rejecting you. The current king has nothing but swords from the throne. Nothing but swords. Because it's rejected him. Now, all his homies, because the worst thing about King Viserys is that he don't have a backbone, really. So he collaborates with people instead of being like, this is the law and this is how it's gonna be. He talked to his right hand man. They asked him, like, yo, you need to have a wife so you can have a son. So you need to remarry. He's like, I don't want to remarry. I want to remember my wife. She hasn't been dead yet. Like, hey, you need to remarry. So there's this thing that's happening in the stepstones of this nigga Craft Eater, which is about to go crazy next episode. This nigga about a Craft Eater. And it's messing with this guy by the name of Caloris, the Black Targaryen. Fleet is messing with him. So he's asking, like, yo, can we go take care of this? And Viserys is like, nah, we ain't gonna take care of this. So Caloris is already pissed that his shit getting fucked up, right? And then Caloris thinks, like, look, the best thing for you to do is to marry one of my daughters. Mind you, she's 12, but we'll get to that later. The best thing to do is to marry one of my daughters because the two houses together would become more powerful for the realm. And his daughter's already half Targaryen because Caloris is married to Viserys' auntie. So his daughter is already half Targaryen. So he like, I'm gonna think about it. The most uncomfortable part of the show, this nigga is walking down the garden getting courted by this 12-year-old. It is the most uncomfortable part of this show. But that's why Game of Thrones is so good. She says this at the end of them talking. She was like, it would be an honor. It would be an honor to be with you, my lord. Or some shit like that. And then he was like, yo, did your father make you say that? He was like, what's your mama say? Mom said I ain't got to bed with you till I'm of age. And he was like, and then he just shook the shoulders like, motherfucker.
At least mama making sense, I guess.
Even his daughter even talked to this black dude's wife like, you cool with this? She like, really?
Yeah, she understands, but she also said she asked Rhaenyra. I was about to say that she asked Rhaenyra, how do you feel that when they get married, that the kid that they have is going to take your spot? Because that's what happened with her. Her spot got taken by Viserys because nobody wanted a queen to sit on the Iron Throne. So that already is in Rhaenyra's head. Now we fast forward again. So I didn't say this purposely. So Rhaenyra has a best friend, and that's Otto Hightower's daughter. They are best friends. It's almost a love relationship, almost like a lesbian relationship. They love each other. She even says in the first episode, like, why you don't want to do these queen duties? She said, I wish to have another seat so you can sit with me and we could ride the dragons together and stuff like that, right? Really, like, they love each other.
They probably planted those seeds, maybe.
This is how you know the seeds already got rooted from the ground. So Jaehaerys named an heir, and it's Otto Hightower's daughter, her best friend. And this is the dumbest thing this nigga did so far, because that's what started the Dance of the Dragons. Right there.
Burn them niggas.
So by him doing that, his daughter immediately started to hate Otto Hightower's daughter.
Yeah.
Already, just like,
politics, my boy. Yeah.
Politics. So that's just what we ended on. Mind you, I gave a synopsis of that fucking show.
This actually sounds interesting. I actually really want to see this.
It had me hooked. I'm like, bro, because the great thing about Game of Thrones, people think it's the war scenes, which, yes, Battle with the Bastards, Hard Home, that's good. When
journey that takes you there, though.
It's the journey that fucking gets you. And the politics. That's why Littlefinger and what's the little guy named Tyrion was two of the best people in that show, because it was the politics that they played that made the show really, really. Cersei in season 1, 2, and 3 was a fucking asshole.
Nasty.
But she was playing that game right.
She did that shit crazy.
So like, it did. Ned Stark literally died because he did not know how to. He had too much honor. They're like, look, this Game of Thrones ain't got nothing for niggas with honor. Boom.
Same thing with the Red Wedding.
So there's a debate who's dumber, Robb Stark or Viserys. I still think Robb.
I think it's Robb, bro. I think it's Robb. I think it's Robb for sure.
I'm sorry for cussing like this, but he was just a dumb bitch.
Like that nigga literally lost everything in one night.
Cause all he had to do, mind you,
making the same mistake. They making the same mistake. They made bad decisions over pussy.
No, but Viserys, he's the king. So this nigga Robb knew that the Freys wanted their daughters married. And you went into their crib with your pregnant wife. That was so disrespectful, bro. I can't even speak on it no more, bro. I can't even speak on it no more.
You could have had her as your mistress, bro.
Bro, that's it. And if she don't want to be your mistress, fuck her. Nigga, you got a whole war you doing, and you thinking about pussy. I'm gonna end it there. But House of the Dragon already for me is probably my favorite Game of Thrones season. It's so good. They're taking their time, but they're also like, season 1 is gonna be years. So like, from episode 1 and 2, like, years passed.
Oh, that's what I was gonna ask. It looks like it's gonna be, since they're going through the entire bloodline, it's gonna be like time skips.
It's gonna be time skips for this one because Rhaenyra has kids, motherfuckers' kids have kids, so like it's gonna be a long, like this. They said it's for 3 seasons, but it's gonna last. You know, it's gonna tell like a generation of stories, right? This was single-handedly revitalized the Game of Thrones property. It was already like a juggernaut. Like, Warner Brothers already had like a big property, but this single-handedly will make it be like, okay, George R. Martin, what next thing you want us to spin off? Okay, you want us to spin off Aegon's Conquest?
That's
You
what I
us to
want.
spin
I'm
off
very
Duncan?
interested in that.
You want if you like incest, there you go. But
Aegon's Conquest.
Aegon married both of his sisters, blood sisters.
I'm just more interested in him just conquering the
Yeah, him conquering. Everybody would love Aegon. They have conquered 7 kingdoms with like 3 dragons.
Yeah, I want to see that shit. That shit look cool.
Like he was smoking niggas, and he was supposedly like a chill dude. But if you said no, he was like, you see that throne right there? I'm gonna make your house's sword is gonna go on that throne. That signifies me whooping your ass. So, but like, there's so many because George R. R. Martin, for him not finishing this freaking series, it don't even look like he got 2 more books left, and he got novels called like the Duncan Egg story that's canon in the Game of Thrones verse that HBO wants to write. He haven't finished that yet. So it's so much that George, like they have like literally like how Amazon owns Lord of the Rings and now they got all this Tolkien stuff. They got a lot with George R. R. Martin, and they can look if they retcon season 8. I don't even care. Like they even gonna have a Jon Snow spinoff, and he gonna be with that. So
it's funny the contrast because like I've been hearing a lot of good things about House of Dragon. I've been hearing a lot of bad things about this Lord of the Rings series. Like,
I ain't watching. I'm gonna wait. I'm probably gonna.
Niggas have been saying nothing but bad things about that show. Like they said, basically it's like it has a high production value. And that's it. They
already look. Like HBO when they was like, look, we gonna put a black person in there. Ain't gonna be too many black people. They put a lot of black people in there. They already have they want. Yeah, you already know.
I know they was like hell no. This race is purely white. No niggers allowed.
I would definitely say people listening hop on the House.
I'm gonna give it a watch now because season 8 made me like.
You should give it a watch. It's very good TV. It's very good dialogue. Like as I get older and stepping away from not stepping away from anime, but not watching this.
Mid, you stepping away from mid.
Stepping away from mid. I started to appreciate good dialogue.
Yes.
Not one-liners that make me go, ha, oh man, I didn't hear enough. But good dialogue. Like that hair for the day shit had me with goosebumps. I'm like, hey, this nigga cold. This nigga cold. Like when Caloris and Daemon was talking. Oh, I forgot to say that. Basically at the end, black dude that the king basically said, like, hey, I'm not gonna wed your daughter. I'm gonna wed Idle Hightower daughter. He got mad, so he teamed up with Daemon and said, look, we always been little bro throughout our whole entire life. We can't be little bro no more. We gonna take over. So
oof. Does he have his own dragon?
Who, Daemon?
No, the Caloris.
I think if he don't have a dragon, his wife got one.
Yeah, but he got fleets though.
He owns the biggest fleet of ships.
Yikes.
So yeah. Like you don't kind of want to. That's not another reason like Jaehaerys so fucking stupid. I mean Viserys so fucking stupid. Cause like the biggest thing you need in order to keep the 7 Kingdoms is ships.
A fucking army.
You ain't got an army. Like he controls the sea almost. And this nigga so fucking dumb. But like as Caloris and him was talking, Caloris was flaming the king. And then nigga Daemon was like, I talk shit about my brother, not you. Shut that nigga up. I'm like, this is the stuff I love, bro. This is the stuff I love.
He said, hey bro, chill out.
It did so much shades of gray. Because as you see the king saying, I'm gonna go with Otto's daughter, you don't know who to root for. Who's the bad guy in this story? You really don't know. Because he did his daughter dirty. He did Caloris dirty. Otto doing it only for his house name's sake, not for the sake of the realm. Daemon, he's not really a bad person. He just ruled a different way. Even though in the first episode he chopped the nigga balls off. But he just rule. He knows that like you can't rule a kingdom being a pussy. Sorry for cursing. So it's you literally looking like, I don't know, like when you watch Game of Thrones, you know the 2 main characters of this show is Dany and Jon Snow. if it wasn't simple in the first the first season, that like season 3 and like Jon Snow on the wall, you knew all like, all right, these two are the two main characters of this show. We know who the enemy is. The Night King and King's Landing. Everybody in King's Landing. We already know. Now season 8 made it seem like this whole entire time Arya was the big savior of the day. But that's neither here nor there. And I love Arya, but I'm still pissed at her killing her. But yeah, that's it, man. Yeah, Game of Thrones, they got it, man.
Big ups.
They got it, bro. I thought like niggas said on Twitter, they was like, just when they lost me, they bring me back in. They
had us in the first quarter. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm done with it.
But yeah, them dragons is back, G. So good to see Game of Thrones.
Yeah, last thing, my bad. It's 10 dragons in total in the show. 10. So for D&D, we didn't have enough budget to do more than one dragon throughout the last season.
No. You're starting this. It's we kinda didn't have enough money to make it.
Yo, like, Martin flamed them. He was like, bro, give me 10 seasons. Give me 12. They was like, no, we don't want to do it. He was like, I wanted 10 seasons, and now they came up with that.
No,
even though, like, nigga, you was there, though.
The biggest thing that applies to clown makeup for D&D is that the sole reason why they rushed the final season was because of a Star Wars project that Disney was like, hey, yo, we'll give you the Star Wars project, you know what I'm saying? And HBO Max was like, listen, we got the budget, we will give you more seasons. And they was like, no, because we want to go to Star Wars. We want Star Wars.
Hey, I'm booted.
And because of the flop of season 8, Disney was like, nah, you're not working on Star Wars anymore. So they lost that project, and since then they have not worked on any significant projects at all.
See what happens when you fumble the bag?
You fumbled 2 bags. You fumbled a Game of Thrones bag because that's a fucking juggernaut, and you fumbled a Star Wars Disney bag. Clowns, bro. Clowns.
Because you want to rush things, nigga. Like, y'all goofy as hell, G. Forever clowns, G.